Uncle Mort's North Country by Peter Tinnerswood.
It was the second day of Carter Brandon's week off work. The wind was blowing hard. It blew back the ears of cocker spaniels in public parks. It furrowed the brows of shifty canals. Carter Brandon decided to take his Uncle Mort to Liverpool in his old Ford Zodiac with the sad headlamps.
But I don't want to go to Liverpool, Carter.
Why not?
Because it's a right closet of a place, Liverpool.
Why?
On the grounds of its native inhabitants. I can't abide them, Carter.
Why?
Why, it's all that incessant talking they do. All that relentless cracking of funny jokes. All that smiling and laughing. All that unrelieved cheerfulness in the face of adversity. It's an affront to the North.
Why?
Well, because it gives us a bad name.
Why?
Because it's totally alien to the true nature and traditions of the North. In the North, Carter, we are indigenous as nature intended. Congenitally hostile to strangers, unfriendly, malicious, mean-minded, and totally opposed to self-supporting trousers.
You're talking empty. And I'm going to Liverpool regardless.
I see. You're that side out this morning. I'd best come with you, then.
Why?
To make sure you don't succumb to catarrh and terminal cheerfulness.
They put on their overcoats and mufflers and stepped outside. The car scowled at them. The pink blizzard of cherry blossoms swirled about them as they pulled away from the curb. Rooks were flung in black tatters above their nests. The gale grew stronger as they climbed out of the valley and headed westwards towards the high pass, with its angry reservoirs and its cold-shouldered crags.
Do you like Manuel and his music of the mountains, Carter?
Yes.
You would. You're that side out this morning.
They turned a pinched corner, and they saw a sign pointing to their left. It said, "To the museum."
Hey, young Carter. Let's go there instead.
A museum? What do you want to go to a museum for?
Because I feel like a good kip.
What?
Listen to me, Carter. When you get to my time of life, there's only two places where a man can be assured of a good kip in peace and quiet with no disturbance.
And where's that?
A museum or a swimming gala. Great Britain versus the Netherlands.
All right then, please yourself. We'll go to the museum. I suppose Liverpool will still be with us this time next year.
Certainly. That's what makes life so bloody unbearable to a man of discernment.
Carter Brandon followed the direction of the signpost. He drove down a narrow lane overhung with horse chestnut and beech, and came to a cluster of low buildings with 3 tall chimneys and a mill race rushing beneath a sombre and silent, tethered water wheel. There was a small cobbled yard enclosed by a low chain fence. Parked on it, wheelless and a squat on a wooden railway sleeper, was a steam lorry, with the iron doors of its cab creaking back and forth in the gale. A large sign above the arch of the main entrance proclaimed, "The Winston Place Museum of Living Northern Life."
Winston Place. He's the only first-class cricket umpire I know retired premature because he couldn't bear to give people out. I reckon God's rather like that.
They got out of the car. The wind snapped at their coat-tails. Uncle Mort climbed carefully over the low chain fence and patted the cab of the steam lorry affectionately.
I like steam lorries, me. I once saw one run over a policeman in Halifax.
Well, there's not much else to do in Halifax, is there?
Uncle Mort was just about to climb into the cab of the steam lorry when a voice bellowed,
"Get your mitts off, lad! Can't you see this place is closed, you bastards?"
A small man hurtled across the courtyard. He was bald and elderly. He had a limp, and his face was scarlet with rage and rum.
"Look, I'm warning you, if you don't vacate these premises immediately, I'll... Good God, Mort! It's you!
And it's you, too! Harry Ardgasser. What are you doing here?
I'm a caretaker. Nobody else would do it, so they forced it on me.
Well, you can't get better credentials for an important job than that, can you, Harry? Look at the Duchess of York.
Uncle Mort introduced his nephew to his old friend.
My condolences.
Thank you very much.
Well then, Mort, what brings you here?
We've come for a kip.
Well, that's all right then. I thought you'd come for a frivolous purpose.
He led them across the courtyard and into the building. They stepped into a kitchen. There were damp patches on the wall and strips of flypaper hanging from the gas mantle. There was a brownstone sink, a single cold tap, and a warped, slimy wooden draining board. There was a lopsided dresser, a meat safe, and 2 scuffed leather armchairs in front of a black-leaded range.
Well, this'll do champion, Harry. I'll have my kip here.
You can't.
Why not?
It's one of the exhibits. This is a full-scale, genuine reproduction of a typical northern working-class kitchen. We had it made special out of fiberglass in Basingstoke.
Isn't that just typical of museums, Carter? All you get is bloody exhibits.
Aye. They don't show no consideration for the disinterested, do they?
Correct. Come on, I'll show you around a bit more.
Right.
He led them down a long, gloomy corridor lined by glass-topped cabinets. They looked inside them. In one, there was a collection of vintage back collar studs. In another was a selection of stirrup pump adapters. And in another was a collection of early northern bulldog clips.
Very redolent, Carter.
Smashing.
Oh, we've got better than that, lads. Follow me.
He led them past a cabinet containing a comprehensive collection of parrots' toenails from the South Yorkshire coalfield. He led them into a large, airy hall with 2 glass fanlights and silent background music, and there, in the centre of the floor, was an exhibit that made their eyes water with ecstasy and their veins pulse with excitement. Yes, it was a quarter-scale model of the Pavilion at Bramall Lane, Sheffield.
By God, Harry, that's a sight for sore eyes. The memories it brings back. Miller and Lindwall in full flood. Lennart knocking the stuffing out of them bastards from Lancashire. Brian Close using the visitors' urinals. Aye, many's the good kip I've had in there.
So have I, Mort. Come on, then. I'll show you the piece of resistance.
He directed them up a steep, narrow staircase. With a smile of triumph, he flung open the door and said,
Now then, Mort, what do you think to that?
Uncle Mort looked round the room with long, slow satisfaction. He took off his cap and scratched his pate. He said,
The ultimate, Harry. The ultimate. This is what I'd call the true heart of the North. Look at it. Mucky, gungy, untidy, smelly, and furnished in the most rampant bad taste known to man or beast. This, Harry, is without shadow of a doubt the best exhibit in the whole of the museum.
This isn't an exhibit, you great pillock. This is my flat.
My congratulations, Harry. There's only one thing missing, though.
What's that?
A wax effigy of Stainless Stephen.
Well, thank you. I'll bear that in mind next time I talk to Nosmo King. All right, then. You're very welcome to stop here and be miserable in comfort. I've got some work to do. Dusting the poles on the collection of Mexborough trackless trolley buses.
I hope you'll be very happy.
I will, provided I don't have to go via Rotherham bus station.